So, welcome all of you here. This is the module number 7, decision making. Decision making is one of the technique for the management where company can take a decision for future planning. Here, the decisions not for only future planning, but I want to tell you some existence situations also can be managed through the decision making. And that decision making based on two important costing. One is a marginal costing and other one is on the basis of a standard costing. So there are some topics to be discussed under this decision making, where introduction meaning as it is, but the steps of decision making, managerial decision making, models of decision making, concept of a relevant cost and irrelevant cost, different cost for decision making like sunk cost, opportunity cost, imputed cost, fixed cost, out of pocket cost, shutdown cost, then the types of decision making, difference between the managerial concerns and the difference between the marginal costing and the differential costing like this. So here let's begin with the introduction. It's fastest. What is decision making? Decision making involves the act of selecting one course of action from among various feasible alternatives available. So in that sense, the maybe company is already having a lot of type of choices for taking the decisions. Say for an example, here the company is actually running with some scarcity of a material. Now the company has to identify that first the material is available at a different prices. Second, why the material scarcity has been actually happened in the premises. The company have enough liquidity. What would be the future possibilities regarding the material supply in the units, and the amount of material would be available through other countries. That means you can import the material, same type of material from other countries also. So now according to the various type of sources, the company can take decision for their benefits. Many quantitative and qualitative aspects have to be taken into account for decision making. So the manager chooses that the course of action which he consists as the most favorable and possible achieving goals and try to solving the problems. Here the decision making is an integral part of management functions like planning, organization, coordinations and controlling. All decisions are futuristic in nature, involving a forecast for what management thinks is likely to occur, but it is very uncertain. So it means that whatever the forecasting has been done by the management, it is not necessary that whatever the forecasting it would be happened. It is unfortunate sometimes also and uncertain also. The cost accountant examines each situation in depth to decide the kind of cost concept to be used and plays an important role in decision making by making precise and the accurate data available to the management. So in that sense, the decision making would be helpful to take a proper decision. There are two kinds of decisions involved in the decision making. One is a long-term decisions, other one is a short-term decision. Now see, what is long-term decision? Usually the particulars in nature, the specific informations for the decision making relies on the given situation calling for a decision. Here that means the situation has been given, the design of the informations is also very much rely on the informations given. So the short-term decisions are mostly affected within a year only, or maybe less than the year only. That consideration that the opening decision may involve a host of special non-recurring decisions such as make or buy, then the accept or reject an order, or maybe the other type of such decisions. The long-term decisions force the management to look beyond the current year, that means more than 1 year. The time value of money and return on investments are major consideration in a long-term decision. Uncertainty is an integral part of a decision making. So that means this is what all about introduction part of a decision making. The next point is definition and meaning of a decision making. Few authors and few renowned personality has been defined a decision making. Here the first is the managerial decision making is the act of making up your mind about something or a position or opinion or judgment that is arrived at after some consideration. That means the whatever the opinion, whatever the position, whatever the judgment has been arrived in the particular consideration, that is what the decision making. Another author has given, Warren Weber, that managerial decision making is the process by which managers respond to the opportunities and threats by analyzing options and making decisions about the goals and course of action. This is a part of a decision making. Now moving to the next point, that is steps in decision making. There are several steps for a decision making, and that steps are very much logical for taking a decision making. So on the basis of that steps, you would be reaching and maybe but very close to the decision would be helpful for the better aspects and better prospects for your organization. First is defining and clarifying the problems. It means before you are going to take any part of decision, you should understand what is your actual problem. So the first step is to define your problem, identify your problem, clarify that problem precisely for the decision making, so that quantitative data that are relevant to that particular solution can be identified. So the possible alternative solutions to the problem should be identified, and at that time consideration of more alternatives options may take the matters more complex and relaxations. Second is collective and analyzing the data. So after you identified that problems, now you are going to collect and analyzing the data. So the data has been collecting now. So in this regard, whatever the decision you want to take it regarding that problem, you try to collect the informations, and that informations would be helpful to take a decision to be precise. In fact, the number of decisions improvise by acquiring further informations regarding the problem, and it is normally possible to obtain such type of information and try to analyze the data in such a way that it would be more and more simplifications to get into the particular problems in detail and find out the outcome out of it. Next is the analyzing the problem. All alternatives have their own advantages and disadvantages. The decision taker has to take a decision on the basis of the problem intensity, so how much problem is actually intensified, and according to that deepness and the involvement of the problem in the organizations, you can actually find out and analyzing the problems. So problem must be observed from a different value and the different point of actions to determine the largest net advantages. Next is ascertainment of alternative action. So the decision maker identifies an alternative course of action. So that means they would not be going and identified only one solutions, but they might be find out one or two more options and alternative solutions for the particular task and the particular problem. The screens possibilities by computing the various cost structures and revenue statements each of that particular options. Next is evaluating each alternatives. Now alternatives has been designed. Now you are trying to evaluate that each of the alternative which was decided. There are two types of aspects. One is quantitative aspects, another one is qualitative aspects. The decision maker observes all benefits and the limitations of the various aspects. That means they knows all the benefits and limitations or disadvantages of the respected aspects. To get best option for enhancement of the company, they would be try to identify a best alternatives and would be applied to solve the problems. Next is selection of an alternative. After defining, after collecting, after analyzing, after checking, after evaluating and finalizing, you try to apply a particular alternative and select that alternative for a further decision making can identify to solve your problem. Next and the last is the appraisal of the result. So now the alternative has been selected. Now we want to find out the results. After executing the decision maker should regularly seek an appraisal of the results. They will help him out in the case of the solution of that particular options and the solution of the particular task and the particular problem, and the correcting the mistakes, modifying the targets and making a better forecasting for time to come. So in this regard, the number of techniques are used for decision making, which are as marginal costing is one of the technique, break-even analysis is another technique, and the differential cost analysis, that is the technique for appraisal of results as well as for better taking decisions. Here we are going to discuss the managerial decision making problems. There are three types of problems. One is a crisis, then another is a non-crisis, and the third is opportunity problem. The crisis is a problem, is a serious difficulty requiring an immediate actions. That means the decision making concept may not be applied all the time in the organization that you can take a decision immediately. So it happens sometimes that the decision you want to take it, but there are certain limitations to apply your decision immediately may not be possible. Non-crisis issues that requires resolution do not simultaneously have the importance and immediacy characteristics of a crisis. That means that sometimes you may feel that there is a crisis, but simultaneously the importance and immediacy may not be actually fulfilled that crisis. Opportunity problem. An opportunity problem is a situation that offers strong potential for significant organizational appropriate actions can be taken. So in that case, if appropriate actions you want to take it, you need to identify that the situation, and that situation would be considered as a strong evaluations and strong potentiality. Now, models of decision making. Models of decision making, there are important two models, rational model and non-rational model. Rational model is most popular type of model which is based on different type of judgment and pros and cons of various options. It means that the amount of model which exactly provided such type of informations where judgment and the judgment you can take it easily, but simultaneously there are some pros and cons of the particular option. Non-rational model it can be further classified into the some more and more clarification, that is the satisfying model, incremental model and garbage can model. Next is concept of relevant cost and irrelevant cost. What is relevant cost? It is the process of analyzing and selecting a course of action from a number of alternatives. That means there are plenty number of alternatives from it that the company and the management and the organization and the persons who are involved in the decision has to take a serious point. So in this analysis, basic emphasis remains on identification of relevant cost. Revenues and resources that change in between alternative course of actions. So sometimes it happens the revenue has been changed, resources also may be changed, and you may not be in a position to take a decision where the alternative cost of actions are actually defined. So the term relevant means